Home prices. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. Let's talk about the housing market. There was a run up of home prices with inflation. We've all seen that. If you're in the market for a home, stay tuned. I'm going to explain a way to position yourself right now for the current economy and the current housing market. In 2021 and 2022, inflation across the economy really jumped, really increased. It affected the price of groceries, the price of insurance, everything, including home prices. Inflation made all prices rise, and the Federal Reserve, waited until inflation had gotten over 9% to do anything about it. That was one of the problems. It was because normally inflation is between 2 and 3% per year. So the Federal Reserve actually waited until it got 3 times higher than normal, over 9% to do anything about it. So these prices, we all saw the increase in prices in groceries, in insurance, car insurance, business insurance, health insurance, home insurance, and home prices, and interest rates. When the Fed actually finally acted, they really had to increase interest rates a lot. So that was kind of a price to pay for letting inflation get out of hand. So in late 2022, interest rates were increased dramatically in a very short period of time, from near zero to over 5%. I think it was like 5.5% or something. And that made so we had higher home prices and higher interest rates. So that affected home sales. So now there's an expectation that home prices should drop back down, right? There's a this idea that, okay, so inflation was addressed in 2022 and interest rates were increased. Shouldn't the price of everything, not just home prices, shouldn't the price of everything start dropping back to where it was before inflation kicked in? The answer is no, not necessarily. Some things can, but some things will not. So, for example, if you built a home, if you're a home builder, if you build a home in 2020 or 2021 or 2022, you're not going to decrease the price of the home to the 2018 home price level because you've already spent the money to build a home. So some things, yes, they might be able to drop a little bit. For example, the price of oil is continually taken out of the ground. So the price can reflect the fact, okay, this is the oil that was just removed, just pumped out of the ground yesterday. But for a home that was built during high inflation, that money was spent. It has to be recovered if possible, right? So home prices are a little bit sticky, is what they say. The economists say those are sticky prices. So the median home price has fallen, though, okay? In order to get homes sold, because they have not been selling well, the median U.S. home price has fallen. Now, what is the median? Okay, it's not the average. Okay, the calculation for the average is different. For the median home price, what you do is you look at all the prices of homes that were sold. You look at all the homes that were sold, divide the number of homes sold in half. 50% of the homes are in the lower part of the median. 50% of the homes are in the upper part of the median. The median is just the price of the home that was sold that was in the middle of all the homes sold. It's a different calculation from average. So the median home price has fallen, but not by much, okay? An exception is Austin, Texas. The median home price has fallen 15%. So if you're in the market for a home, that's one place to consider, Austin, Texas. When homes have corrected downward that much, wow, that's a big drop. So if you think about it, if you were looking at a home for $400,000 and the price has dropped 15%, that's a $66,000 drop. So the home was selling for $400,000, now it's selling for $340,000. That's a big drop. Okay, so that makes it easier to qualify to buy that home. So right now, that current housing market, there are 3 home sellers for every 1 home buyer. That means 1 buyer here, 3 homes for sale. They have a choice. Okay, so let's talk about supply and demand. I already sort of insinuated supply and demand here a little bit. I said there's 1 buyer right now, and for each buyer, there are 3 home sellers. That's a supply and demand imbalance. There's a supply of 3 homes for every 1 buyer, right? So let's talk about supply and demand for homes specifically. So on the demand side, builders are seeing slow home sales, right? I mean, if there's 1 buyer and there's 3 homes for sale, there's 3 home builders competing to sell their homes. They've got 3 of them, but there's only 1 buyer. So they're not seeing high demand. Demand, the 1 buyer is low, has dropped. So builders are giving cash incentives and interest rate buydowns to home buyers. to get these homes sold. They've got 3 homes for sale for every 1 buyer. How do we sell these homes faster? Incentives. So the supply, this is the tricky thing about supply and demand. When the builders start noticing that the demand has dropped, there's only 1 buyer, there's 3 homes for sale, guess what these builders do? They stop building homes, right? So as the demand, as the demand decreased, the supply had to decrease too. The builders started taking an active role in reducing the number of homes they were building. So the supply of new homes has been cut, has dropped. So supply was here, demand dropped, so did supply. So if you can find a place like this, Austin, Texas, with a 15% drop, they're probably losing money. The home builder is probably losing money on that home, but they have to get rid of it. They need to get out of that loss, right? So right now the demand is low. There are not too many buyers, but the supply has been cut. That is partly why home prices are not really falling. I mean, if builders kept building and instead of 3 homes for every 1 buyer, there were 100 homes and there was only 1 buyer, guess what the price of homes would have to do? Drop significantly, right? That's not happening. The supply has been cut. Builders have stopped building. So is this a good time to buy? A lot of people would say, I don't feel like buying a home. I'm not sure about my job, about the economy. Some people might say that. Okay, not everyone. Some people have great jobs, consistent income, consistent work. But there are some people in the economy right now who might say this may not be a good time to buy a home. I would say it's a perfect time to buy a home. And I'm going to explain why, okay? So first, let's look at the median home price. The median home price right now in the U.S., across the entire country, $462,000. The median home price, not the average, the median. That's the middle of all the homes that are available for sale, cut in half. The median price, $462,000. Okay, 25 years ago, in the year 2000, the median home price was only $119,000. It's like, wow, does that sound great, right? Because 10% down is only $12,000. A 5% down, if you're a first-time buyer, a 5% down would be $6,000, and you're into a home. Now, if you want a 10% down home, you need about $47,000. Well, $46,000. A 5% down first-time home buyer, you would need $23,000 down payment. So in 2000, the median home price was quite a bit lower. The median home price has increased $13,720 per year over these last 25 years. Not exactly the same amount each year. Sometimes they increase more. It was not a steady increase. It was there was some turbulence in the increase, but generally between 2000 and now, there has been a $13,720 per year increase in home prices. This is part of the reason why this is a good time to buy. Okay, because when you buy a home, the first thing is you're going to be in your current area for at least 5 years, 5 to 10 years. The average length of time people own a home is about 7 years. So if you're seeing an increase in the home price of $13,720 per year, over a 7-year period, that's over. You were getting close to $100,000, right? We're getting close to $100,000 over the 7-year traditional holding period for a home. So you're missing out. If you're renting, all the money's going to rent. You're not able to recover it. Now, there is a huge advantage to renting. I'm not going to forget to mention this. At the end of your lease, if you decide you want to pull up stakes, you can do that. You don't have to sell the home. You don't have to wait and hope you can sell the home. You can just say, we're moving, right? Maybe you're moving for your job to another state, and maybe you're moving to another part of town or another part of the same state. You just say, we're not going to keep renting here. You can't do that. If you own a home, you have to get the home sold, right? And who knows? So it's hard to predict right now what the home selling market will be in 7 years. That is a difference. But this is money. This is real money. The other is a sort of an unknown cost. We don't know. If we keep renting, we know we're losing all the rent money every year. Even if we do move and we still rent, yes, it was easy to leave the old place, but we're still renting, so all that money is gone at the end of the lease. If you buy a home, $13,720 over the last 25 years, that's not chump change. Over a 10-year period, that's $137,000 over a 10-year period, right? So versus renting, zero. So that's one reason to think about buying a home. Okay, so making plans now to buy a home. I'm going to explain the the benefits to, you don't have to commit to buying a home now, but thinking about it. By the way, before we leave median home prices, in Iowa, the state of Iowa, the median home price, $227,000. And a lot of people are moving to Midwestern states like that because of that reason, because the homes are affordable. The weather in the winter is, there are 4 seasons. In the Midwest, you have 4 seasons. In the southern part of the U.S., you really don't have the same 4 seasons. It depends on what you prefer, what you like. But $227,000 is less than half the national median home price, right? So that's a pretty darn good deal. Okay, so making plans now for buying a home. Okay, if you were going to buy a home, would you want to be competing with a lot of other buyers or no other buyers? If you're buying a home, you would not want any competition. You would want to say, I am one buyer and I know there are 3 home sellers for every buyer. So I have my pick of the litter, right? Right now, you actually have the pick of the litter. You're one person buying a home. There are 3 sellers on average, 3 homes for sale for each buyer. There's less competition to buy right now. The time to buy is when no one wants to buy. It's counterintuitive. It's generally true. Okay, what do you need to be able to buy a home? A stable job, a commitment to remain in the same area for at least 5 years, if not longer, and the ability to qualify financially to buy the home. If you're a first-time home buyer, you can get a 3% down or a 5% down mortgage. If you were in the military, you can get a 0% down FHA loan, right? If you have a 2-income household, if you're married, if you've got 2 people working who can sign up to qualify for the mortgage, and you're a first-time home buyer, and you're buying in a place like Iowa, wow. Okay, what is 10% of $227,000, right? It's about 22 grand, a little bit more than $22,000. 5% is 11,000. All right, 3% even less, about $8,000. So if you're buying in a state like Iowa, 2 incomes, first-time home buyer, 1 buyer for every 3 homes for sale, you're in good shape right now to buy. As long as you can commit to stay in the same area and your job, your income is stable. Okay, let's compare that to waiting for a great economy, because people will say, well, I feel nervous about buying a home right now. So let's wait until the economy is fantastic. Okay, what's going to happen? How many more home buyers will be created in a great economy? Right now we have 1 home buyer and 3 home sellers. That will change. There will be 3 home buyers and the same 3 home sellers, maybe, right? There's going to be more home buyers. When the economy starts improving, more home buyers will be created. How flexible will sellers be? If there's 3 sellers, but now there's 3 buyers instead of 1, are sellers going to stop being cooperative? Yes. They're not going to want to fix anything. They will say, oh, you found some defects in our home, you don't want to buy it, fine. For every home seller, there's at least 1 buyer because the economy's great. So if you're waiting for home prices to drop, Austin, Texas, it's already happened. Nationally, it's only dropped about 2 or 3%. Because the homes were built. The homes were built in high inflation times. They can only cut the price so much. Also, in a great economy, if the economy suddenly improves and becomes fantastic, how many fixer-upper or starter homes will there be? Fewer and fewer. As the economy starts improving, the competition for homes will increase. The competition for starter homes or fixer-upper homes that are usually cheaper, the competition for those will increase, and you'll have less choice. The longer you wait for the economy to take off or for a huge drop in home prices to happen, the less opportunity you're going to have. So it's counterintuitive, but right now home prices kind of reflect the state of the market, which is high interest rates, and there's a lot of homes for sale. It's a good time to buy, even though interest rates are high, because interest rates are falling. We are in a cycle of interest rates being reduced, right? So you're going to be able to refinance ultimately. So I would argue if you're in a state with an affordable home price and you can find a fixer-upper home. I mean, I've done searches in the Midwest. I've seen homes for under $100,000 that were fixer-uppers that you could buy, move into, commit to living in that area for 5 to 10 years, incrementally fix up that home and live in it while you're fixing it up, and then eventually either turn it into a rental and buy your next home, or sell it and move up to a different home. So just some things to think about. Home prices, are they going to drop substantially? Unlikely. Okay, because right now we're in a period of moving towards a much stronger economy. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but interest rates are starting to drop. And as more people figure out that AI is not going to take everybody's job, then people will because right now people are holding back buying stuff because they have fears about the future, and it's unlikely those fears will become manifest. When we generally bought when other people did not want to buy. My wife and I generally bought we would buy fixer-uppers in a down economy. It always seemed to work out because we held for long enough so that things worked out great. If you have any questions about this, please post in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. I really want to thank everyone for watching. Have a great day.